Hey everybody, welcome to my latest episode. I've got morning conversations while you sit on the commode. So smile a big smile, kick back with coffee, enjoy conversation with the peach. She's just a little frosty. She's just a little frosty.
Well, hey, my sweet and frosty friends. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And what is today? Happy St. Paddys Day, everybody. Hope you're having a good one. Hope you're wearing green today. Y'all, it's very windy. I know you guys can hear this. And it's actually like coming a little snowstorm right now. It's crazy. This weather in March is just crazy. I'm gonna get me a sip of coffee and we're gonna talk. I need the coffee this morning. Y'all gotta look at my fingernails. They're so cute because I haven't done them in like 2 weeks. I've been doing these shows without my nails done. It drives me crazy. So I want to welcome everybody to the brand spanking new mini series, Coffee Convos. And we still got clarity, but we're now coffees, convos, and cutting through the chaos. We're going to talk about self-doubt today. Because why? Because self-doubt is acting up again. And when self-doubt starts acting up, we got to tell it who the boss is, right? We have got to tell it who the boss is. So we're going to go ahead, jump on in this morning. We're cutting through the chaos. And our theme is normalizing wobbliness and silencing the inner critic. Inner critic, that's not how you say critic. So normalizing wobbliness, that was wobbliness, and silencing the inner critic. So, you know, when I think of that theme and I think of wobbliness, I just want to share this little quick story. And this happened today, and I just want to say, I was sitting here having my coffee yesterday morning, and it was really windy yesterday. We've had 2 days of this craziness, and there were some eagles that were out here flying, and it amazes me how they fly in this wind. I mean, we're talking wind gusts of like 50, 60 mile per hour winds sometimes here. It's crazy. But, you know, they get to where they're going, but they just kind of soar along because it's in them. And, you know, I think, you know, as humans, that would be like the ultimate in like reaching our highest potential, because when we can look at challenges and face them head on, like that eagle with that wind, that 40, 50 mile per hour wind smacking them in the face, and he's just like, okay, I'm good, I'm just gliding. You know, as humans, you know, we freak out, and our brains start doing their thing, trying to protect us, and we start overreacting, and we start overthinking everything. And that's kind of what this series is about. And I just want to share that because I just, you know, that's the ultimate in wobbliness, because we wobble too, and it's okay to wobble. It's okay, you know, use your voice when it shakes. That's the whole point. So, you know, when you're faced with a situation where you start doubting things just a little bit, when you get kind of overwhelmed, or, you know, something starts tapping you on the shoulder saying, hey, I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if you're good enough to do that. Yeah, oh yeah, I am. You just give me time. I might wobble a little bit. It might be a little messy, but I'll get it done. And that's the way that we got to start thinking, right? That's how we're going to get things done. I trust myself to, you know, figure things out even when it's messy. And all of this, you know, is psychological. It's all, like I talked about the other day, it's our brain protecting us. You see, doubt may look like the villain, but doubt is actually trying to protect us. The brain sends doubt out. That's an interesting way to say that. But doubt's kind of like, he's not the villain, but he portrays himself a lot of times as the villain, but he's really kind of like a double agent, because he is keeping us from hurting ourselves. Because what does the brain want to do? They want to keep us from hurting ourselves. They don't want us to live our lives. So we get in this situation where here we go again, you know, and doubt is okay. Maybe sometimes doubt can keep us safe. You know, if we're doubting walking into a building that's falling apart or something, but not if we're doubting ourselves for, you know, telling a story in front of people or something like that. But the brain, it's smart, but it's kind of stupid, because it doesn't know the difference between the two. It just sees danger as danger, and it don't know the difference. So we have to be the ones to differentiate between those. And one of the things that we can do is use a little term called self-defusion. That's a big old fancy word for letting ourselves know that thoughts are not facts. It's like creating your own reality. It's kind of like what I was talking about creating your own reality. That's okay. That's why the world goes round and round, because we're all different. And doesn't mean you have to necessarily accept somebody else's reality. That's theirs. That's their way with dealing with their situation and what's going on in their brain. So we need to have compassion for that, for ourselves, other people, but ourselves. Because we can tell ourselves, hey, baloney, this is telling me that I can't do this and I'm gonna fail. Bull. That's a bunch of hogwash. That's a bunch of phony baloney, and we ain't gonna listen to that, right? We are not. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this nice little thing called self-efficacy. What is self-efficacy, you ask? It's our weapon that we use against self-doubt. It's telling us that we can face any challenges that come our way. Anything comes our way, we got this. You know, we have got this. There's no problem. We have totally got this. And it gets real interesting in here, because doubt's over here going, well, you think you're so smart, I guess I'll show you. So what does doubt do? Doubt brings in his little sidekick. And who's the little sidekick? Our inner critic. And this one is like, this little booger, man, I tell you what, this little booger is a pain in the butt. This inner critic, at least my inner critic, just so loud and dramatic about everything. It's like, you can't do this. You're crazy. You're gonna embarrass yourself. You know, you're gonna let all these people down and you're gonna embarrass yourself. And let me tell you, she is behind. She is so stuck in the early 90s, it's ridiculous. She's over here going, you can't talk to this guy, you can't talk to this person, you can't stand up in front of this crowd and talk, you can't sing in front of people or anything. And that's when we got to say, looky here. Looky here. You need to grow up. You need to get out. You need to go sit in a truck. That's what we used to say, go sit in a truck. You need to get out, because we're not having this today. We are not doing this. And that's how we have to treat our inner critic. It's just a bunch of nonsense. Go sit in a truck, go in the corner, you know, we're not doing this right now. So we're going to go through a few quick little affirmations. You know that word. These are not the same affirmations that we had before. They do tie into them. Those affirmations that we did with joy and creativity and intuition and heart and compassion and everything, that goes into everyday life. Today is actually joy and creativity day. So this is like the perfect way to tie all this in here. So we're going to do a few little affirmations. I'm going to run through these fairly quick, but they're little thoughts that I want you to use, especially if you're feeling challenged with something. So, thoughts be loud. I ain't listening. My brain can holler, but I don't have to holler back. I ain't your holler back girl. It ain't going to happen. All right? Not every thought gets a seat at my table. I like this one because when you think about, that's a good visual. When people come and sit at our table in our home, we invited those people in because we like those people. There's something about that person that is probably drawn to us in some way, and we care about that. So, but that doesn't mean that every Joe Blow can come off the street and walk in my house and eat at my table. That's not how this works. You're going to have to, prove yourself to me before I let you come sit at my table. And that's how we need to treat our thoughts. Okay? And that thought, that inner critic, just walk itself on out here. Like I said, go sit in the truck. We're not doing this. We're just not. It's a cute thought. Okay, sure. But you ain't my problem. That's a story, not a fact. I like that one. That's a quick and easy one that you can remember real easy. That when your brain starts lying to you, it's just a story. You're making it up. They're just protecting us. So no, it's not a fact. You don't have to listen to that. I hear it, but I ain't listening. And I thought of that one, and it brought up a little quick story. You know how I do that, and I get so full of it. I gotta get me a sip, y'all. I feel like I got like a little tank right there, and I need a little bite. Oh yeah, there it is. And so, when I was little, I had this little thing. I don't know where it came from, but I remember if somebody told me something that I didn't want to hear, that I didn't like, I'd go, that meant I tuned you out. I ain't listening to anything you have to say, and nothing you can say is getting through to me. Yeah, I was a spunky one sometimes, but I mean, that's what we gotta do. We gotta tune those thoughts out. And don't let them in. Don't listen to them, man. Don't listen to them. And my personal favorite Gen X saying that, I'm sure some of y'all have heard, this is an A-B convo. You can see your way out. Thoughts. You're not invited into this conversation. You can see your way on out of here because we ain't doing it. All right? But I want to go ahead and get our prompt for today. I'm putting the prompts at the end now so we can kind of think about everything that we've talked about with self-doubt. And today's prompt is, what is self-doubt protecting us from? Man, that's a big one, ain't it? That thing just jumps right in your face. Like, It puts action from us. What is self-doubt protecting you from? Fear? Failure? Embarrassment? Disappointing other people? No. You got to look that up. You got to figure that out. More likely than people that you're worried about disappointing, they ain't the slightest bit disappointed. If you feel they're going to be the first people there to pick you up, they ain't going to laugh at you. And if they did, kick them to the curb. Because they ain't your friends anyway. That's their problem, not your problem. Failure? Yeah, we all got that. It's all gonna happen. What happens when we fail? We pick ourselves up by our bootstraps. We get on up when we fall flat on our face, and we try it again, and we try it again, and we try it again, we try it again. You get my point. Until we get it right. As eventually we're gonna get it right. So why are you afraid of that? You know? Embarrassment? Y'all, no, don't be embarrassed. You gotta shine. You gotta be who you are. Trust me, if I was embarrassed, I wouldn't be sitting here right now with my blinking hat on, my funny glasses. I mean, last thing I care about is being embarrassed. And that's how I think we all need to be. You know what? So what? Who cares what people think about you? They'll get over it. They'll be all right. So, you know, I have to put myself in this situation because that's what we do here. I'm not going to make y'all talk about your problems if I don't talk about mine. So I thought I'd share a little story. And when I was in elementary school, going way back. But I got the lead in a little class production of Chicken Little. Now, I don't know if you know the story about Chicken Little. The sky is falling and all that. I was the lead. Holy cow, that's really cool, right? Well, I was scared. I didn't know. I gotta go up in front of my class and all these people. What if they laugh at me? What if I mess up? So what did I do? I got on up there. I did the damn thing. You know, I had my little construction paper costume on, my little beak and my little wings. And I said, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. You know, and I did it. And I got through it, and everything was good, and everything was fine. And, you know, that's what we got to do. And I'd love to hear your stories of a time, you know, when you felt like that, when you were scared to death to do something. Like, I just don't think I can do this. Self-doubt, inner critics beating you over the head. But by golly, you got up there, you did your thing. You know, you did it. You go, girl. You go, boy. You did your thing. I'd love to hear those stories in the comments. You know, share them with me. Let's share them with everybody. I think that'd be really fun. And that's how we do it, man. That's how we kick self-doubt out of here. I'd love to hear from you what you struggle with. You know, I'm here for you guys. You know, it helps me doing this just as much as it hopefully helps y'all. It's real important. So I'm gonna leave y'all with a couple of quick little metaphors for today. Metaphors, boy, that sounded country. But every thought ain't gospel, and some thoughts are just noisy neighbors. Noisy neighbors, you don't have to invite them over to your house. You don't have to give them a seat at your table. They're there. God bless them and everything. That's good. But you don't gotta be friends with them. You don't have to invite them to your table. You don't. That's just the reality of it. So I'm gonna send you off with that. Let's put doubt in the corner because it needs a timeout. And we're gonna move forward. And we're gonna keep it going. I love this stuff. And I hope you'll join me for the next episode. We're going to be sticking in self-doubt for a while. And we're going to really, really break it down bit by bit and talk about what we can do to get better. So join me and we'll see you on the next episode. You know what we're doing. We're keeping it a little bit frosty on the outside, a little warm, toasty, and fuzzy on the inside. You guys have a wonderful, blessed day. Get you some fresh air if you can. Some sunshine if you got it wherever you are. We'll see you next time on the Frosty Peach.
Enjoy conversation with the peach. She's just a little frosty.